of the best way to connect with people in small talk is to be informational and have some humor. Here are some things to avoid in small talk said in a humorous way. Hello again, everyone. I'm Eli's dad with Project Eli, where we educate, we lead, and we inspire. And I was just drawn into this particular article by a gentleman named Moreno Zagaro because it talked about what I was talking about, not making mistakes while small talking. But he does so in such a humorous way. I'm going to read you the article. Tell me if you don't agree that he's just engaging with his humor and makes his points at the same time with little stories. Okay? Title of the article, Conversational Mistakes You Should Avoid by Moreno Zagaro. Big shout out. Conversations are like most things in life. Hard to master, easy to mess up. One simple blunder can do what a lawnmower does to a birthday cake. Even though most of human evolution has relied on communication, we still mess up a lot by saying stupid things, talking past each other, and getting stuck in a resulting awkward silence. Often, you're so into the flow, you don't realize what you said until after it came out of your mouth. Like with an ugly newborn baby, there's no shoving it back and pretending it didn't happen. Talking to others is like walking through a dog park. Fun and exciting, but if you don't watch your step, you're in for a squishy time. Here's the most common turds that you should avoid in small talk. First, ignoring the golden ratio. Quote, we have 2 ears and 1 tongue, so we should listen more and talk less, unquote. And that's by Diogenes. When you're excited about a topic, you pick up on opportunities to chime in like a hunting dog on the track of a wounded deer. But when you focus on responding, you stop listening. I love discussions, but what annoys me to no end is when I have to explain myself 3 times because every time the low voltage brain in front of me gets lost thinking about their response. Be open and listen deeply. Take your time to think. There's no brownie points for how much you talk, but there sure as hell are penalty ones for not caring about what the other person says and instead basking in the gooey glory of your own words. The priority goes, listen, think, respond, not the other way around. Choosing a small screen over a big human. Quote, you cannot truly listen to anyone and do anything else at the same time, unquote. And that's from M. Scott Peck. You'd think that decades after the introduction of mobile and smartphones, people would have learned to live with it. Spoiler alert, they haven't. It's amazing how much a small piece of technology can mess up an otherwise solid conversation. One of my recent dates kept checking her phone like a panicked 17-year-old with a pregnancy test. I've got a simple strike rule. Once you hit that, no babies from me. Once again, this is the author talking. To you, it's just a quick glance while still listening. But that doesn't matter. What matters is how the other person perceives it. And they're usually thinking 1 of 2 things. Either you're so addicted you can't go for an hour without checking your phone, or a random message is more important to you than the conversation we're having. Good luck turning that one around. Human interactions aren't so much about what you say, but how you make the other person feel. Every time you check your phone, you're dropping a bowling ball on their private parts. Being too good at carrying the conversation. Most people don't know you can be too good at conversations. When they meet someone new, they're lost for words. What do you even talk about? The magic lies in building chains of association. Let's say you compliment someone's sneakers, so they tell you where they bought them, which leads to a chat about online versus retail shopping, followed by talking about the environment and the climate change, which sets the stage for the story of how you got soaked during your last outside barbecue, which, you get the point. connections. Connecting topics and stories is a key skill to keep conversations flowing like water out of a ruptured goldfish bag. But there's only so much fluid it can hold. Instead of one-upping others by always adding your own story, dive into theirs. How did it make them feel? Why did they act the way they did? What was the best or the worst thing about it? Every time you do, you add some water to that bag and make the little fishy happy. Quick pause here, personal aside. One of my buddies is an expert at this. He's a gentleman who's got tons of charisma. People are drawn to him. He's a natural born leader. One of his key skills, now keep in mind, he went to Harvard, so he's very, very smart, very engaging, very experienced with people. But people that are not super highly educated feel comfortable talking to him because he asks questions. How did it make you feel? Why'd you do that? So, he's an expert on doing that. That's a very, very key skill to have. Next point, back to the author. Being one step ahead. If there's one thing I hate with a passion, it's other people interruptions? Yeah, I hate them too. I was talking to this guy yesterday and it's impolite, which is a nice way of saying it's friggin' rude to interrupt. When you interrupt someone, the message you send is, quote, shut up. I've got something more important to say and I won't even be courteous enough to let you finish your sentence, unquote. Does that sound like someone pleasant to talk to? Neither does it to me. I choose my words in conversation carefully, and if you don't appreciate them, I'll find somebody that does. But what can you do if you can't keep your mouth shut? Practice. Interrupting others is a habit and takes time to reprogram. Instead, try to listen and wait for the other person to finish. Repeat until successful. Secondly, let go of expectations. Don't assume what the other person is going to tell you, but wait until they do. As Epictetus said, quote, it is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows. Look them in the eyes. When you lock eyes with someone, you're less likely to be in your head and more aware of their presence. Both help you wait for your turn to speak. Apologize. Hey, nobody's perfect and you don't have to be either. I'd be lying if I said I never interrupt anybody. Apologize and ask the other person to start again from where you jumped in. One of the things I like to say is, pardon me while you're interrupting. Okay? Interruptions are like mosquitoes on vacation. A few bites don't hurt, but too many and you'll give the hotel 2 out of 5 on TripAdvisor, no matter how great the beaches were. Never touch the volume knob. Talking too loudly or too quietly are like diarrhea in a severe cough, annoying by themselves, but a real killer when combined. I hate having to lip read someone's whispers because the person behind me grew up next to a South American bar and doesn't mind rupturing someone's eardrum when asking what time it is. There's no perfect volume. Speaking in a waiting room is different from talking in a crowded bar. But if people keep asking you to repeat yourself or your neighbor across the street chimes in on your living room conversation, take the hint. If in doubt, ask a friend. It's not what you say, but how you say it, and often also how loudly you say it. Saying what you think the other person wants to hear. Once again, things to avoid. It feels great to meet someone and hit it off immediately. What sucks is when you find out they faked it all along. It's like getting excited about a chocolate chip cookie to realize it's a wannabe healthy oat raisin one. If you hold back because you don't want to rub others the wrong way, this is well intended, but ruins your authenticity and conversation. You see, most people have a powerful BS detector that goes off when they bite a fake cookie. You can't please everyone, and you shouldn't even try. Instead, stand by your opinion, values, and views. Be authentic. Not everyone will like you, but it keeps things interesting. And in the world of conversation, that's what counts. Not taking compliments well. There's a simple, straightforward way to receive compliments. Say thank you, smile, and be flattered. It's not that hard. People often employ a false sense of humility or belittle themselves. Oh, that's nothing. It spoils your conversations in two ways. First, you portray yourself as insecure and immature. If you can't enjoy a simple, honest compliment, you've got some serious work to do, young Padawan. Second, you invalidate the other person's view. When someone compliments you, they make themselves vulnerable by showing their appreciation. When you deny it, it's like screaming at a puppy for bringing you their favorite toy. Compliments aren't an opportunity to show how humble or selfless you are. They're an open display of appreciation and the courage to express it. Treat them accordingly by saying thanks, smiling, and being happy because someone hyped you up. Owning your greatness will do you good as well. Here's a recap so you can become more fun to talk to. Now, you're not going to become a master of conversation overnight, but if you avoid the most common blunders, you'll be a lot more fun to talk to. 1. You have 2 ears and 1 mouth. Use them accordingly. 2. The other person is more important than your phone. Period. 3. Don't suffocate others with your stories and carry the conversation on your own. It's called a dialogue for a reason. 4. Don't interrupt. Yep, it's really annoying, right? Don't interrupt others. 5. Adjust your volume. Talk louder if others can't hear you. Keep it down if your next door neighbor chimes in. 6. Be authentic instead of pleasing others. And number 7, take compliments with a confident smile instead of nervous humility. Quote, everyone has their own ways of expression. I believe we all have a lot to say, but finding ways to say it is more than half the battle. Unquote. And that's from Chris Jamie. I love that article. One of the things that drew me to it was the humor and the points that were made, and it got me thinking, and I really, really enjoyed it. Huge shout out to Moreno Zagaro for things to avoid when making small talk. Okay, had our little mini session, 3 videos on small talk. It's a key skill to have. It's not super essential, you must have it, but it's very close to being right there. And remember always, hey, don't ration the passion, fashion the passion. I'm Eli's dad.